I count him braver who overcomes his desires than him who overcomes his enemies. So focus of the question is on the desire. And to overcome desire means overcoming, controlling ourself. And controlling self means battling with the self, a self which is afflicted with passions, craving, thirst, desires, anger, greed, pride. And fighting with oneself is considered as one of the biggest battle. In Islam, in Quran, it is mentioned as jihad, that is trying to conquer yourself. One who conquers yourself is known as jinn, the conqueror, from where the word jannas have come, and it is like Mahavir. Now see, there are basically 6 enemies, and 6 enemies of self are anger, greed, pride, attachment, then we have envy and desire. Desire is considered as the biggest enemy. Desire is leading to never-ending vicious cycle. One desire leads to another desire, and this cycle, this chain is never-ending. Desire is like Rakt Bij demon. Rakt Bij demon was there, whose every drop falling on the ground led to creation of many, many demons. It is there Ma Kali had incarnated and did not let any drop of blood to fall on the ground. It is through that Rakt Bij Rakshas or Rakt Bij demon was finished. Desires are like hedonistic treadmill. Hedonistic treadmill means once you start walking on that treadmill of desire, then it will keep on giving more and more desires. It is just as iPhone 12 had launched, after some time iPhone 13 has come, so 12 has lost its relevance, and we start seeing i13, i14, i15, i16, and that desire is never ending. Apple and these big corporate house knows that. If you remember, when Apple was introduced in India, when Apple was coming to India, then there used to be jokes like कि यार मेरे को आईफोन खरीदना है, लगता है मुझे अपनी किडनी बेचनी पड़ेगी. That was creating a craze for these consumer goods. Means a very intelligently carved that triggered desires. And hence controlling and overcome that desire requires a great courage and great level of competencies. This is desire is the biggest internal enemy. Outer enemies, like you are defeating somebody physically, you are defeating somebody emotionally, you are defeating somebody financially. Winning others is definitely impressive, but winning yourself is transformational. Hence, I count him braver who overcomes his desire than him who overcomes his enemies. तो यहाँ पर जो enemies है, basically it is referring to internal enemy and external enemy, and desire is the internal enemy. Its root cause is ignorance, and as Buddha and other schools of philosophy have said that it is the source of all miseries, suffering, and if we talk of philosophically and religiously, then it is the cause of bondage. Then we can also talk of that Buddha talks of 3 poisons: Lobh, Moh and Dvesh. This Moh is the starting point of all problems and miseries. What is ignorance indicating here? Ignorance is indicating like ignorant about good life or narrow interpretation of good life. That means equating happiness with material things. Material things mil gayi, I am happy. Nahi mili, I am sad, and I am not happy. That is very narrow interpretation of good life and happiness, and that is the source of all problems. So overcoming these desires, overcoming these negative emotions, overcoming these passions and cravings is considered as the biggest battle. Question arises that who can win, who can overcome these desires? So first, you need to have deeply rooted values. It is something like you have to follow Astangik Marg of Jaina, Buddhism, Panch Mahavrat of Jainism. So ethical competencies, deep rooted values. Second, then you need to have high emotional intelligence, self awareness, then only you will be able to have self regulation. Then third, that is intellectual competency, that is your logical, analytical, critical thinking should be high. Then fourth, you need to have moral courage. You need to have positive attitude, a disciplined life. Then you need to follow, or you need to understand and follow the path of like moderation. What Buddha says, Madhyam Marg, and Aristotle says, golden mean. One who is able to overcome desires, for that you need to have a clarity about the life, clarity about the purpose of human life. So all these competencies are required for overcoming desires. Now overcoming desires have great implications. For individual, it leads to happiness, a life of contentment, a fulfilled life. Life of contentment and fulfilled life does not mean that we will stop doing work, because happiness means moving always with perseverance, refuse to get defeated, disappointed, frustrated. So there is like overcoming desires results into happiness and mental peace. As far as the governance and public servant is concerned, public servant overcoming the desire or the temptation of money, power, authority results into ethical governance, corruption-free governance, citizen-centric governance, faster and qualitatively grievance redressal mechanism. Then that is like one displays, one set himself as an example, displays exemplary leadership, and through exemplary leadership one sets the tone, positive tone for the society, because he presents himself as the role model which people can emulate. All these things results into public trust, and higher the public trust, greater will be the people's participation in the governance, and hence our democratic system would be more functional and vibrant and dynamic and resilient. So public trust is a very important key factor. You can also talk about that overcoming desires makes one to walk on the path of spiritual journey, because this is considered as one way for the salvation and enlightenment and ultimately eternal happiness. So I count him braver who overcomes his desires than him who overcomes his enemies. So desire, we have taken the thread that desire is considered as biggest enemy, and this desire is not outside, this desire or this enemy is inside. And for that you need to have mindfulness, self-awareness, self-regulation, or broadly you can talk of introspection and chitta shuddhi. Okay?